The United States and China have exchanged hardline measures, rare earth export controls, and a 100% tariff threat, raising tensions. But both sides have also signaled they want to avoid a direct clash, engaging in last-minute behind-the-scenes coordination ahead of the APEC summit.
미국과 중국이 히토류 통제와 100% 관세라는 초강수를 주고받으며 긴장이 고조됐지만 정면 충돌은 피하겠다는 입장을 함께 내놨습니다. APEC 정상회의를 앞두고 양국은 막판 물밑 조율에 나서고 있습니다. Okay, so China is calling for rare earth element export restriction, and the U.S. said, okay, well then 100% extra tariffs for you.
Right. Of course, rare earth elements are very important in tech manufacturing,
Yes.
which President Trump is trying to draw some of that back to the United States, manufacturing of different goods. And so if they can't get the rare earth metals, they're going to be very affected by that, right?
Right.
So,
And of course, China being a huge key player when it comes to rare earth
right,
elements.
of course. And they actually already control their export, but they've just added a few more of them, I believe 5 more of them to the list. So then President Trump, of course, in response, thinks that China is trying to control him a little bit and never likes that. And so he always likes to pick a very big number. So he says, 100% tariffs. Let's go with 100% this time. You know?
That sounds like a nice round number. Why don't we go with that?
Like when he's suing a bunch of different newspapers, he's suing the New York Times. He's, I'm going to sue you for $15 billion. Just incredibly huge numbers, which are maybe not actually reasonable to be expected from these situations. But certainly they get people talking about it and they get people moving.
So 우리 히토류 하면은 이게 많은 장비들에 사용이 되잖아요. 그래서 중국이 이미 그거를 컨트롤하고 있는데 이제는 더 컨트롤하겠다. 이제 용도에 따라서 우리가 이제 수출을 허용할 수도 있고 이제 미국 입장에서는 수입인 거죠. 허용할 수도 있고 케이스 바이 케이스로 가겠다라고 했는데 트럼프가 그러면 우리 관세 100%를
Exactly.
추가로 내게 할 거야. 그러니까 2배를 내게 하는 거죠.
Right. It's two very large kind of bullies pushing each other, right? Or actually not pushing each other yet, just kind of shouting at each other at this point. China says it doesn't want to fight, but it isn't afraid of one. It will also retaliate. Everyone is threatening to retaliate, right? But of course, they also say they actually, because this isn't going to be good for anybody in the long run if they actually do get it, escalate the trade war between them. So they have signaled that they're going to be working things out kind of behind the scenes, as we mentioned, right?
So as is the case for many of these hardline stances, I would say, they give their big numbers and big restrictions first, and then they kind of tone it down.
Right.
And then they say, okay, but we're open to negotiations.
Right.
We're willing to talk. And that's what's happening here,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's a negotiation tactic, right? And we'll see what happens because we're all going to meet in APEC in Korea coming up at the end of the month. It's on Friday, October 31st on Halloween. That's a pretty spooky day to have APEC.
That's right.
And it'll end on the next day.
So we will see what kind of behind the scenes talks will take place leading up to APEC or even during APEC.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about ripple effects before, haven't we? I'm sure there are ripple effects of this possible trade war between the two countries. What's the situation within the US and also in the markets?
Well, the markets fell based on this conflict. The Dow fell 1.9%, the S&P 500 was down 2.7%, Nasdaq dropped 3.6%, and then big tech stocks, which of course rely on these kind of rare earth metals, Nvidia slid 4.85% and Tesla was down over 5% as well. So that's about it all amounts to about a $770 billion market value loss in a single day from tech giants.
Yeah, for the tech giants. So this uncertainty was reflected in the markets. 시장 불안이 이제 즉각 반영이 됐는데요.
네.
뉴욕 증시 다우, S&P, 나스닥 다 폭락을 했고요. 기술주 시총이 1,100조 원이 증발했습니다. And of course, not just the traditional stock market, but also crypto markets.
Right.
Also, they plummeted, and I'm talking about 80%
Yeah.
plummeted.
You got to watch those crypto coins.
That's right.
You never know what they're going to do next.
You have to keep a close eye because they fluctuate at a greater wavelength compared to the traditional markets.
Big time.
And of course, even bonds. they showed some wavering in the prices there as well.
But then there's been kind of some drawing back. President Trump says, we are probably going to meet. We're not going to meet. I don't want to hurt China. I want to help them. So I think things will probably be able to be smoothed over in the long run.
Right, and what you mentioned is a 유화 gesture in Korean. 트럼프가 SNS에 뭐 중국을 돕고 싶다, 시진핑과의
네.
우정, 불황은 원치 않아 이런 말들을 했었죠. So
네.
we will have to see, wait and see.
그렇죠.
Let's have a look at some expressions. Hardline measures, 강경 조치입니다.
Right. Policies that are super strict, that are uncompromising, that you're not going to move on. They're unflexible.
That's right. They're inflexible. 반대로 이제 온건책, 유화 정책을 얘기할 때는 soft line을 쓰거든요. 그런데 중요한 거는 우리가 지금 hard line measures라고 했잖아요. soft line measures는 거의 안 씁니다. 잘 안 써요.
Yeah, you hear hard line a lot more.
Yeah, and you usually say soft line approach or soft line stance instead.
Yep.
I
you
don't
can
know
just,
why.
You can just say like a softer approach as
Yeah,
well.
softer approach also works.
That'll do it.
Okay, so in the article we said the United States and China have exchanged hardline measures. 미국과 중국이 강경한 조치를 주고받았다.
Of course, the tariff is just a threat right now. It hasn't been put into action yet.
That's right, not yet. It's a threat that's hovering over the heads of Chinese people. Okay, the next expression, behind the scenes. 이거는 이미 아실 것 같은데요.
네.
비공식적인, 겉으로 드러나지 않는 이라는 뜻입니다.
Right, originally from the theater, because in a theater production, in a play, there's a lot of things happening behind the scene that you can't see to help the production happen. And that's the same thing that is happening, of course, in political situations or in any organization. Things that are going on that you don't see or know about.
That's right. 여기서 scene은 그러니까 stage라고 생각을 해도
네,
되겠죠.
그렇죠.
Things that are happening behind
Yep.
the stage, behind the curtains.
네, exactly.
그래서 씬을 공식적인 무대라고 생각을 하시면 됩니다. Okay, from the article once again, both sides have engaged in last-minute behind-the-scenes coordination ahead of the APEC summit. 양측은 APEC 정상회의를 앞두고 막판 물밑 조율에 나섰다. 여기서 behind the scenes, 물밑에 해당이 되는 거죠. Here's the article once more. The United States and China have exchanged hardline measures. Rare earth export controls and a 100% tariff threat, raising tensions. But both sides have also signaled they want to avoid a direct clash, engaging in last-minute behind-the-scenes coordination ahead of the APEC summit. Okay, let's have a look at the next one.
From now on, registering fingerprints and facial photos is a must when traveling to Europe. The European Union has introduced a new entry-exit system for non-EU nationals, ushering in full-scale biometric data management.
이제 유럽 여행에 지문과 얼굴 사진 등록이 필수가 됩니다. 유럽연합이 비EU 국적자를 대상으로 한 새 출입국 시스템을 도입해서 본격적인 생체 정보 관리에 들어갔습니다.
네.
Okay, so they want our faces and our fingerprints, our biometric data.
Which, I mean, I don't think is really that surprising for a lot of people. You might be already used to that. A lot of countries do that. You need to get your fingerprints taken and your picture taken when you're coming into Korea, for
Yes.
example. I do it every time. And Canada also already has that. But of course, there's a lot more free movement within the EU. That's kind of its whole thing, its whole jam. So this is likely an overall reaction because there's been a lot of backlash against what some people see as mass illegal immigration that's been happening. A lot of people coming in various different ways that are causing different social conflicts within Europe. So it could be a reaction to that.
Right. 우리가 그 쉥겐 조약이라고 하잖아요.
right.
The movement within that agreement is especially very easy.
Right.
그래서 이거를 하면은 도입하면 범죄 예방, 불법 체류, you also mentioned illegal immigration, 불법 이민, 그리고
네.
국경 보안 강화 이런 게 목적이라고 합니다.
That's right.
All right. So how will it affect us, the Koreans?
Well, it's going to be different for Koreans. You're just going to have to basically get your fingerprints taken.
That's right,
Yeah.
because it applies to people not in the EU. There are some exceptions. They mentioned if you have family members
Yeah.
that are EU citizens.
Or if you're a long-term resident as well. So they're trying to ease into it, and it won't actually take full effect until April of next year as well.
That's right. 그래서 EU 시민이 있는 가족, 그러니까 가족 중에 한 명이 EU 시민이다. 또는 나는 장기 체류 what do you call it? 비자가 있다. 이러면은 이게 등록은 면제되는데 우리 일반 외국인들은 이제 등록을 해야 됩니다.
That's right.
Now, when I first read this news, I thought, great, going to Europe is now going to be quicker because they have massive lines compared to the Incheon
They
airport, right?
certainly do. Incheon is a very efficient airport. If you're used to the service at Incheon, you're going to have a big surprise when you go abroad.
Yes, and you're going to have a nastier surprise for some time because it's going to take a while for you to first register your face and fingerprints.
Right. All these new programs going into effect certainly slow things down, especially at the beginning.
그래서 이제 대사관들은 여행을 갈 때 이거를 감안해서 충분한 시간을 확보하고 가라라고 조언하고 있습니다.
네.
All right, so if one expression that we used there was usher in, 도입하다.
Right. You could think of it as an usher is actually a job in a movie theater where,
And also a singer.
yeah, also a singer. Maybe I don't think he does his own ushering at his concerts.
Definitely not.
But yeah, it means to bring somebody in because it's dark in the theater when you're going in. So it means to lead somebody in somewhere. So it's used as an expression to mark the start of something new that's about to happen.
So you might say something like this. The invention of the smartphone ushered in a new era of communication.
Yes, obviously, it's often a new era or a new time that's being
Yeah.
ushered in. The arrival of Misorang ushered in a new era of evening special.
Thank you very much. 네, 이렇게 usher in 뒤에 어떤 새로운 시대 또는 era 이런 게 붙는데요.
네.
스마트폰의 발명은 새로운 소통의 시대를 열었다. 이렇게 나왔고요.
네.
In our article, we had the European Union has ushered in full-scale biometric data management.
Right.
유럽연합은 전면적인 생체 정보 관리 체계를 도입했다.
So we're talking about biometric data management, right?
생체 정보이죠.
Right. Anything biometric is any personal information that you get from basically from your body, right? Everybody is a little bit different. You're very unique in your physical makeup. So anything like fingerprints, your face, of course, your eyes, your iris, and even your voice, of course. These are all
Yeah.
things that we're using a lot these days that we're getting pretty used to as we move into this whole new AI era that's
Yeah.
happening.
And if you want to get hardcore about it, even your DNA sequencing.
Absolutely.
Your blood.
That's coming.
DNA 서열, you mentioned iris scans, 홍채 정보고요. fingerprint, 지문, voice pattern, 음성 패턴, facial recognition data, 얼굴 인식 정보 이런 게 다 생체 정보, biometric data입니다.
네.
And of course, in Korea, I think somewhere, I can't remember exactly where, but they scanned your veins
Wow.
as a form of ID.
Huh.
이렇게 딱 갖다 대면은 그 정맥 패턴을
Right,
보거든요.
because everybody's would be absolutely unique as
Yeah.
well, right? A lot of ways to biometrically identify you. You're not going to be able to hide anywhere for long in the
No
future.
longer. It's getting more and more difficult.
No, so be good.
Be good, as we are. Here's the article. From now on, registering fingerprints and facial photos is a must when traveling to Europe. The European Union has introduced a new entry-exit system for non-EU nationals, ushering in full-scale biometric data management.